if civilization got extinct, how do you say it? If the human race was expelled, or we all died, and just some small children, or well, if we had to restart civilization and with just from scratch, not being cavemen or whatever it's called, those what were they called, those Neanderthals, not being those again, but from scratch. If it was just 10 people left, and no, not 10, but some less people, everything disappeared, everything burned, and we only had the raw materials, and we had the ability to build this and that because it was all already invented, and we had all the information needed on the internet or in books and things like that to build and invent or not reinvent all kinds of things that we already know on Earth. Then how would we? Because I've been writing a science fiction novel about the end of civilization, at the end of the human race being expelled. Isn't that what it's called? And I was writing about the male, I don't know if you can call it race, because it's not, or the male gender, and less and less boys being born, and then I was trying to figure out what does it take to give birth to a boy. I mean, gene-wise, or what do you have to do this or that, and how does whatever, some kind of scientific thing I was going to look into to find out how then, when less and less boys were being born, then there were at 3,000 years later, or 5, or then these women, it would be a matriarchal, that must be the right word, world or earth, and how that would be, that there were not that many boys, more men, and then a lot more women, and then less and less men, and still more, and less, and then maybe at the end there would be like only 10 men, and they would be so precious because they could produce sperm, and thereby be a part of the fertilization process, and then how they maybe could be treated, how women have been treated, like you have to walk around, that was in the 40s or 30s and 50s also, I think, doing making the food and cleaning the house and not going to work, and then reversed, then men would because they could produce sperm that makes it possible to fertilize an egg from the woman, and they would try again and again, hoping to create a boy and more boys, and they were looking into how could that be done. That book I was writing, and then how these men would be treated, to see would women be different, and I would look into what defines a woman and how does the female way of thinking differentiate from the male way of thinking. Are there any differences, similarities, and how are women like being in a in a crowd, with a big crowd and less men, and the opposite way, or the other way around, and then try to see what would a matriarchal world society look like. How would the man be treated? I didn't investigate that well enough yet to know, but I know that it wouldn't be a good world for me. This is, well, there we have female. A lot of women don't like me. I don't know. Instinctively, they don't like me. I don't know why. So just to try to create, and so to see what would it be like, because this is a very patriarchally created society we live in. A lot in the beginning, I think a lot of inventions and ways of thinking were created by women, but maybe the man took the sowed the the women. Some women could have put down the seeds, and then man sowed the and got the, what's it called, the advantage of that, because there has always been, well, society is built on Christianity. Christianity says that the Bible says that the women were created from the bones of the man, and that they had to be like this and that, and I don't remember exactly, but something with the male being superior to the woman, and maybe that belief from the Bible has influenced the way society was built. And that's why when we look back in Denmark, we have to get to the time of the, what's it called, there's this Danner woman who, I think she was the first woman from a poor family to marry a king, or I think he was a king or something like that. Yeah, he was. And she, because of her, some new political party was created, and because of her, there was built this, I think it was a place for some kind of victims of society, and so because he loved her, that king, that poor woman, he listened to her as his wife and as a person he respected, to change things in society. And that's, I think that maybe Christianity, there was a change at that time, but I think before that there could have been women who had some godly fear that made them say, well, I will help you, and then you will just take the idea, and you will, because it helps both of us in the house, in the household, in our economy and things like that. I think there could have been women behind every what's it called? Every little under man, there's this woman or something like that. There's a song like that. I think it's Eurythmics. so I think that if we had to create society from scratch, the social the norms and how men and women are treated as I think it should be more like treated like as equals, not as biblical enemies, because I think that's what it's almost. I think that I don't look down upon a woman like myself who wants to spend most of the time with the children but also have a career. I think some women say, well, I want to have a big career and I want some nanny to take care of the children and things like that. But I think both things I think should be respected, but be an individual choice within the family to that extent that people can agree on it. But I think the concept God, or concept, I don't know, the God in another with another definition than the biblical, because I think it's a bit sexistic the way I know that the Garden of Eden is not the same as heaven or the kingdom of God or whatever, but and they're being thrown out of the Garden of Eden. Well, they got the chance to be on earth, and then the New Testament says you can be forgiven because Jesus died and all that, and I don't. The Garden of Eden is not the same as the kingdom of heaven, or what it's called, or the godly. I don't know what it's called in English. I don't think it's the same. I think the Garden of Eden was the birth of humanity, and then from there out into the world, and because today it's called a kindergarten, so that's you leave kindergarten when you're 5 years old, so I think so, 5, 6, I think, something like that. Then I think that I don't think it's a sin. I don't think the Bible says it's a sin to use your brain. I don't think so. I don't think to think, that's what I say. I don't think it's a sin to she ate from the apple, the tree of wisdom was that, and then she suddenly, it's consciousness, she realized, oh, I'm naked, I have to put on something to hide my and the Garden of Eden is that the same as heaven? I don't know. I don't think it is, because it was on earth and then they were thrown out and they went out to give birth to a lot of people, and then other things happened with Cain and Abel. But, well, okay, so back to how then should this society be created to restart and then not make the same mistakes, to make anyone inferior and anyone superior, or whoever, and not to have that sexistic view. I think, or not even just gender wise, but also when it comes to color or lifestyle or whatever, not to exclude or but be a part of the society and have the same opportunities as everyone else, then I think it would be a good idea to say, well, the Bible is not necessarily the truth or written in a way that reveals the truth about God, and because it's written by men. I don't think there are any chapters written by women, or and how educated were they, what was their jobs, what language do they speak, what was their background, what time in the history of Earth was it, and we cannot fully understand that because it was 2022 years ago, so it can be a bit difficult to understand that time with only bits and pieces left from that time in history. So I think basing society on something written that many years ago that has been analyzed and reinvented and then reinvented again and reinvented and being flipped and turned and preached from people's different perspectives. I think that well, there's a lot of women working today outside their homes, and I think that well, that would be a problem, wouldn't it, according to the Bible? I don't know. I haven't read the whole Bible. I don't know. But well, first I would throw away the Bible, not to create any gaps or holes or whatever that you could could exclude. And then I would. Well, then there would have to be some kind of, like when you create a business, you think about the concept. What should it be? What are the values? What I created a homepage with a company because I looked at Forbes Summerland. That is what's it called? What's it called? In English, I don't even remember the word. A fair with carousels and all these different and different areas, and then then you would have to think about, okay, what kind of people do we have here, and then how do we create a concept that includes all these, what do you call it, segments in the business world, or and then you'd have to create some common values that would work for everyone in that group of inhabitants, and then different areas that would suit the different kind of interests in that group of inhabitants, and then well, as long as, and then laws, and what should the laws be based on then, if not the Bible? Well, I think if you want the way you would want others to treat you, that would the way, yeah, that would be okay, that you treated others that way, and also with a consideration of the other person, what would that person want, and some to find out how laws should be built, or the rules, and it could be, for example, well, do I want other people to kill me? Like, all the way through life, would I want to be afraid that people would kill me? And would I think that would be a nice world to live in? I don't want to live in a world like that. So that would be a part of the laws of don'ts. And that's how our society is. But I think that it seems like some people have forgotten what the laws are, and they create their own laws, and that's not a good idea. It's a good idea to abide to the laws and rules. I was in the hospital with a guy who, well, not with him, but he was there and I was there, and he wrote some words on the wall saying "fuck the law," and I said to him, well, I think I said, well, I think if it means what I think it does, then I said, fuck people who don't, follow the rules or abide. I think that's a word to the law. I don't remember. I'm just saying what I think I remember that is the right word, but I don't know if it is. But in other words, fuck the people, and that means also the system who don't follow those laws and rules that they should judge from. Fuck them as well. No, not fuck the law, but the law that is not being followed. And because I think that is why the law is a problem. It's because it is not always being followed by the system that should actually make sure that it is followed. The whatever. Well, it would be very difficult, because then to create a whole new society with new. I don't think I have lived 48 years. I don't think I could just forget that I think this is wrong and this is wrong, and if new rules were made that suddenly said it was okay to walk around naked in the streets, I mean, I couldn't live in a society like that. I would find it very vulgar and too. I wouldn't like to live in a society like that, but it could. So some people probably would love that, but I think also with other things, a society with no owners of anything. You couldn't own a house, then people could just walk into your house and then they could put a mattress on the floor and they could sleep there. I mean, that kind of living is very difficult to imagine, because people would have to break down some boundaries that they are used to. Well, I can go home and I can, relax. I need to. In Denmark, we say I need to be myself. That's very strange, because I guess we are who we are, also being around other people. But relaxing. I think that's what. That's what I mean when I say, I wouldn't. Where could I relax if I couldn't be sure not to have some person walking in? Then the door would. Well, if you lock the door, well, you wouldn't even be able to lock the door if no one there were no owners of anything, not even houses, and anyone could drive my car if there were no owners or users of cars. Well, I'm not the owner on the paper, but there are some reasons for that. It would be a very difficult world to live in, because how could you work if you didn't know, can I get there to the job? Or will I be able to sleep, or will the house be filled with people who want to throw a party here and I have to go to work? That wouldn't be possible to live like that. It would be very it would be a world and a society that couldn't be stable. It would be a very Christiania, like the place in Copenhagen where people, at least before I lived, I don't know how it is today, but I lived in Copenhagen close to Christiania, and I know it was, very, call it hippie-like, and I don't think it would be possible to live like that in real life. And well, it is very real with all these physical objects I can touch and feel with my on my skin. So I don't think that's what I mean, real life here. But then because I think people would like. I think some people would say, if we could just restart and then get rid of that and that, or this and that, and then or different views and different on that, this and that, and then different values, and I think that. A lot of people would like to change some things, but what should be changed? I think because there are different worlds in reality. There is the internet reality, then there's this physical world. But it is a bit physical, the screen here. But it's not physical in there. It is like a parallel universe. But I think whatever. I don't know what a new society should look like. I just know it would be funny to I don't think I'll ever end that or finish that novel I've been writing, but because I so I'll never figure out or give my what's it called story tell the story of how I think it would be like if it was a woman's world. So I don't know the answer to how a brand new world should look like.